All right, I ripped the tank off. I got to go through that, but I pulled that line off of here, and I'll show you why we're leaking. It's just because this tiny fuel filter is cracked. See, guys? Tiny fuel filter's cracked. What are you gonna do? That fuel filter's shot now. So I wanted to use a tiny one because it fit in here good. Now I guess I'll have to find a different one. Find one that works. All right. All right, we're in here with the tank, and I took the Petcock off. Remember, we did seal it up with some gasket sealer. I'm gonna have to scrape that off, and it's obviously still rusty inside. So maybe I'll pop off this guy and pull that out and try and clean up the inside before all this goes back together. But I did order another Petcock off the internet, and it came in. It says it's for an 82 XJ750 Maxim, which is what we have. And there you go. This easily could be what is supposed to be in here originally. This one's not any worse off, but something's not working. Obviously, something's not working. See, they're just a little bit different, but designs change, and for some reason, this is what we've got. So this is the one that, I don't know, something's not venting correctly, I believe, because like I said, the bike runs fine without the fuel tank. So what I'd like to do is reinstall it with this other fuel Petcock. Hopefully I can have this cleaner this time. And we're going to use this one and see if it actually works and runs just fine. Well, I came up with a dry solution here. I threw a small, everybody likes to throw BBs or marbles or ball bearings in there. I got myself a chain that was laying around here, and I've just been shooting that thing around in here, hopefully scraping up. You can see it's got some tracks going. Let's throw this around in there and try and scrape it all up, get all that crap mixed up there, and whoops. Get all that stuff off the walls, clean it one more time, and hopefully be done with it. Look at this thing as I'm throwing it around. I guess all this stuff's coming out of it. Blech. It's certainly smoking it up pretty good in there. Lots of loose, dry dust in there. I think I'm just gonna do that and then run a good filter. And I don't wanna clean it out again. It's been ridiculous, and I don't wanna risk etching too much metal again. So just clean it out like this and then be done with it. Blow it out with air or something. And this is why I like this chain over ball bearings or rocks or anything else. You get it out, you pull it all out at once. I blew air through this tank until I wasn't getting any dust flying out. Can't really see in there too good. A lot of the loose stuff did come up. So I guess we're gonna go with what we have. Not much more I can do unless I acid etch it again. See, a lot of the junk cleaned up a little bit. So yeah, I got the lid in the ultrasonic cleaner right now. I don't know if that'll help free it up if there is a venting issue. I also went on eBay and put a bid in on a new one. So if we just put a new cap on there, and I got that other Petcock, and hopefully I can put this back on and it doesn't leak, we should be in business. I'm hoping. This is all I really want to do to this thing anymore. Get it running. You can't really find a new tank for this bike, so this is what we got to go. Well, I rinsed this thing down after I tore it down. Or tore it down, ran it through the ultrasonic cleaner with Pine Sol. And there's a little ball that came out of right here. A check valve or something. So I guess when it sits this way, I wonder if that's our vent. But not sure. But anyway, there's a little tiny hole that is up in the middle there. You can't hardly see it, but it's up in there. So hopefully this thing's cleaned out. Like I said, made an offer for a new one, but this is OEM, so it'd be nice to keep it. The key works in it. So I'm going to put it all back together. Here's your locker mechanism. And there's a little seal that goes there, and then put everything else back together. I really should have videoed this as I was taking it apart, because now I don't know how things go back together. I know this little ball bearing, this little guy came out of that hole, as I told you. See, there's a hole that goes up in the middle there. So I can drop that back in with no problem. I know where that went. And then these 4 springs were in there. I think they were sitting in these holes. That seems right. At least there's indents there for them. So that seems right. Sorry, didn't mean to repeat myself there. And then, so that would work with this. Here's the gasket. I need to clean this up with something. So this thing, I guess, keeps fuel from coming out. This sits down on top of all that. So I'm going to clean this up with something quick. It's not the best rubber, but I don't even know if you can rebuild these things. So a cheap new one might be the way to go, but I'll clean that up. And then this is a little thing that was sitting on top of that, holding that in place. And then here's the levers that turn to lock it in. So they line up with this guy. When that turns, it opens and shuts this. So that needs lubed up so they move freely. And then they're held in by these 2 screws. So we'll clean these guys up. Oh, and here's a little seal. So this seal sits down in here, and then that little ring sits on top of that. So let's get all this cleaned up. Doesn't seem the best, but this is what we have to work with. We now have our XJ750 tank all blown out. I blew as much dust as I could out of there. What I'm gonna do is take some acetone and quick just kind of stick it in there and whoosh it all around so we can kind of clean up whatever's in there yet, and then that'll dry fast and it won't rust, and we'll be in full business, and then we can put it all back together. A little bit of rinsing with the acetone, and now I'm just going to let this sit and allow it to all dry out. You can already see it's drying up here. It had run around there, so let that dry out. I don't think it really brought out a lot, you know. Blowing it out was pretty good for it. And we're going to run a filter, so I'm not going to be too worried about anything ripping up on the inside. I would love to have it perfect, but this one just has given me a lot of issues, so I think we're going to go with what we have. I do have a new fuel cap on its way, a brand new one, even though we're rebuilding this one. Can't say rebuilding, just cleaning it. I'm going to still clean it up, put it back together. Hopefully it's good to go. And probably just depends when I get to this project. You can see the fuel level sensor. It's all corroded. Stuff's not really coming off. It's fine. And a little bit. I'll probably hit it with a wire brush before I put it back in. I don't even know if it's working. But hopefully, since I took it off, it doesn't start leaking, because I don't have to put gasket maker on that. And here is our new Petcock, and I'll probably put gasket maker on that just because the last one was leaking, and we're basically retiring the last one. So there's the old one. Hopefully the new one's good to go. All right, so I dropped the cover here back in with the gasket on it, and put the plate here back in to cover that up. So all that's back in there. Got the gasket back in here and the O-ring, or the washer. So that's all ready. And then don't take these off, because I'm not sure how I'm going to get this back in. There are obviously springs in there, and this is your locking mechanism, and that's got to slide back and forth, but it's got to push back into shape. So now I have to figure out how to get these installed back in there. Now it's easy enough to do this now that I looked at it. So just stick your spring in this slot on the bottom of this guy, and then when you put it in, Of course, you gotta flip this over and drop this in slowly and just angle it in so that you put the spring into that spot, and then put your piece back in. And then this one in here, this one's good to go. Just don't pick it up again. Leave it in there. All right, I had to find all these bolts on the floor. Guys, keep your shop organized because it was in amongst a bunch of crap right here. And I'm trying to sort out my for sale parts, and they ended up on the floor because they were laying on a towel, and then I must have used the towel and didn't realize they were laying there. So they were all over the floor. But I got them now. I'm going to put this guy back together. I hope it's not going to leak. I did take a little bit of sandpaper and clean that up. And I think I'll put a little bit of gasket maker right around there so the gaskets are helped to seal. So the gaskets themselves have some extra sealing power. We'll put this back together. All right, just a thin layer. Don't want it going everywhere. So just a thin layer there around that too. And I'm gonna stick these guys in using the new Petcock and the old I keep saying sending unit. The old fuel level sensor, which we're not hooking up. Remember, show you how this level sensor operates. So it just sits in there just like that, and it operates on what will be the left side of the tank. And as the gas level goes down, this goes with it. Can't show you, it's too close. So, but this would be up, and then as it goes down, it would go like that. Easy enough. Well, these have been sitting for a day, so I assume they're probably perfectly healed up, sealed up, healed up, and we're gonna hope this sucker works well. And then to eliminate any problems, any potential problems, we're going to put on the new gas cap. Yeah, I know, it's roached, but it's fine. It's not loose in there. So yeah, all we're gonna do is grab the screw from the old gas cap and put on a new one. So if this is giving any issues, now we did take it apart and clean it, but if it runs with this one and runs with that, maybe we'll switch back and forth, but we're going to use the new one first and see if that solves the problem. I mean, they're basically the same thing. I bet if I took them apart, they're going to be the same thing. So that goes on there. It's pretty easy to put this on. Screw that down through the screw hole, and then pop her on. There we go, new keys and everything. So let's grab this old tank. Getting stuck. We'll go stick this on the bike. No, not that bike. I'll tell you about that later. So does this look like it would fit? Yeah, I'll tell you about that then. So we're gonna put this black tank on the bike and come back to this one. All right, black tank installed. We're not gonna put gas in it yet, but it's ready to go. Kind of waiting for a new line to come in. Or no, I'm gonna use the same line. Kind of waiting for a new fuel filter because I ordered some little ones like that I had on here that broke. And then I gotta put a new breather line to the intake here. So there's our, let's see, gas line, no. Gas line's on the bottom, breather line on top. Okay, so we'll hook this up when the new fuel filter comes in. So let's go look at that other tank. So this is another XJ750 that I stumbled across, thanks to friends of mine. And I think I'm gonna steal the brake master off of this one. Hopefully this one's not leaking. That would solve that leak problem. Probably need to put a new window as we've been doing. And we can screw a mirror into this one. So that would solve a lot of issues there. And then over here, red tank. This thing needs cleaned up. It's been sitting in a barn for quite a while. It's actually pretty clean in there. Where's the key? That's not here at the moment. It's cleaner than the other one anyway. And then what I really like about this tank is we have the wiring intact. Fuel petcock's already here, so hopefully that works good. And the wiring is intact for the fuel level sensor. Guys, there it is. The only thing with the black bike that's wrong, like this whole line pigtail is still there. It's just not soldered and attached here. So we can either just throw this tank on there and go. Hopefully it's all good. But after we did all the work on the black tank, I want to see if it works with that. But we definitely have an option here with this one. Hopefully it should clean up pretty decent. And I really like the fact that this is all intact and all we gotta do is plug it in, and then we might have a fuel level sensor. And hopefully the fuel petcock works and all is good. This looks like it's been painted. Some check marks, but we have, both sides have the emblems. So anyway, next video on this bike, we'll go ahead and see if that black tank works when we hook it up. And if it does, we'll run it. And we'll do something else with this. I don't think this bike's gonna be a build, but probably parts for you guys. So follow along. Got pretty much everything for this bike. There's our CDI, regulator, rectifier. We got tons of those. Someone had to rewire this, so that's a common problem. That's the fuse. So yeah, this one might be a little more intact than the other one, and I'm excited about that. So previous owner was gonna build it as a track bike, and that looks pretty nice. That's probably nicer than the one I have. So yeah, barn find bike, might get some new parts. So I will see you guys on the next one. I'm trying to see, these aren't the right bars. He put these on, took off the old ones. We still have them. Oh, yeah, okay. I wondered. Bungee cord there. So guys, see you in the next one. Last time this was on the road, 9 of 02. A little bit leaky. It's all right. We got extra parts. Got some brake parts on there. Yeah. It's all pretty much here and over there in that. Oh, just got caught on the rear. It's all pretty much here. Here and there, if you will. Okay, see you in the next one. Bye, guys.